Alrighty, I guess we can get started. So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome to this amazing What's New session for ITOM Visibility, AI Ops Sleep, and Cloud Accelerate for the Yokohama in Q1 2025 store releases. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of great innovations that have happened in this specific new release, and I can't wait to get started through the content now. Thanks all for joining, as usual. I guess you'll be familiar by now with the Live on ServiceNow webinar series, but if you're not, this is a great opportunity for you to learn more about our latest and greatest innovations, suggestions when it comes to adoption, and to really speed deployment and really achieve value faster with your ServiceNow solutions. You can either scan this QR code on this slide, or we'll share the link in the chat shortly. I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds so you can take a picture and really leverage this opportunity. But if you miss that, you can still use the link in the chat. Now, a few housekeeping items for today. Please make sure that your line is muted if it's not muted already. We're going to have the Q&A feature that is going to be dedicated to you in order to ask different questions throughout the session. And we're going to have amazing ServiceNow SMEs that are going to be there available for you to answer all of your questions. So please don't be shy. This session is definitely recorded, yes, and we'll share it in the ServiceNow community and on the YouTube community channel after this session. And also at the end of this session, please, you'll be prompted to fill out a short survey, and we really appreciate your feedback. So please dedicate just 1 or 2 minutes to fill that out. That information is really important for us. Now, for those that don't know me, I'm John Mario De Luigi, and I'm part of the amazing outbound product management team for ITOM. I specialize in visibility, cloud accelerates, and the new AIOps Sleep product. If you're not familiar with it, don't you worry. We'll go through it in a minute. And we're doing amazing projects all around the world, and both in person as of last year and also virtually to really help you drive outcomes when it comes to the ITOM implementations and really get you being successful basically with our products. Together with me today, we actually have, as I mentioned, great experts. So thank you, Steve Emerson, Richard Brownstein, and Ryan Zulli for being there. You guys are going to do an amazing job already now. Now we have a lot of content today to cover, so I'm just gonna get started here. But please, again, while I'll be going through these slides, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. We're gonna get started from what's new in ITOM visibility. Now, over the past years and releases, you can see this is a short version of the huge amount of innovations that have been released throughout the different family releases. So the engineers and the product team has been very busy trying to deliver really great features for you to really help you address your challenges. And you can see we had over 20 major innovations, over 6 family releases, and 12 store releases. We have really a lot of innovations, and in Yokohama, we'll have the same. What we're going to talk about in this session is about file-based discovery for ACCV. Actually, there's a whole new architecture for ACCV that has been shipped, which is the meatless architecture. We'll talk about the discovery and service mapping patterns, and also the Cloud License Estimator Innovation Lab release. So these are the major features. In terms of other features, there's a note that I would like to make clear here. What used to be called CNO, Cloud Native Operations, our agent in order to enhance your Kubernetes visibility, has just been renamed to Kubernetes Visibility Agent. So we're gonna cover that also in a second. Let's start from file-based discovery for agent client collector. Now, a lot of you have, especially I'm talking about those of you that experienced trouble during the Log4j or really all sorts of other vulnerabilities that have happened recently. There are different reasons why you would need to perform file-based discovery. And right now, as of now, with this new release, you'll be able to leverage your agent client collector for visibility in order to perform file-based discovery. This is going to be a breakthrough because you will finally be able to capture all the information packaged in the software with the ACCV in a way that you'll have a complete and accurate software inventory. And you'll be able to also improve compliance on libraries that have reached the end of life, as an example. Now, this is really a major breakthrough, and we added it because it was one of the most requested features. So we're definitely listening to you. And please, if you have not done so, please keep leveraging our idea portal that is part of the support ServiceNow site. And that's where we listen to you the most. And of course, if you have more feedback, you'll be prompted, as I said, to a short survey at the end of the session, and that's where we're going to look into as well. If you want to activate it, you will be able to download the latest version of the ACCV, specifically Agent Client Collector for the visibility content. And you will need to enable the file-based discovery plugin that you can see on the store. And as optionals, if you really want to leverage the most out of this new feature, we will encourage you to enable Software Asset Management Professional whenever you have entitlement for that. There is another really important app, which is data collection for Oracle Glass, that is also very important for many of you that have Oracle middleware databases. So we encourage you to leverage that one as well, and even file normalization. Now, when it comes to licensing implications, you'll be entitled to the file-based discovery for ACC with the ITOM visibility entitlement or any other bundle that includes ITOM visibility, as well as digital end user experience or our DEX offering. There are a few technical aspects that you can see in this box, and we'll provide you with the slides at the end of this session, actually in the community chat, in the community page where you have registered for this. And basically, the file-based discovery checks are currently running weekly, but there are options to configure them. You need to enable file-based discovery, as I said, in the discovery definition and the configuration console. And here you'll find all the different details. And now we'll get into the following big feature, which is the midless agent client collector. This is a major feature, and I'm so glad that I'm presenting this to you because a lot of you have had previously doubts about deploying the agents whenever you needed to then maintain the mid server that you use to basically connect that agent to the ServiceNow instance. There were also different use cases where, as an example, you had DMZ environments or whenever you had endpoints that were not necessarily connected to a VPN. Well, now you'll be able to leverage the ITOM gateway to connect the agent to the ServiceNow instance. And this is going to be major innovation for ACC for all the different use cases that you would like to leverage ACC for. And you'll be able to definitely improve the endpoint data quality so that you have an increased automation across the enterprise, and you'll be able to also lower the cost of visibility because you don't need to maintain as many mid servers as you used to. You can see here a configuration of how this works. You basically have your agents that are deployed on your endpoints, whether they are Linux, Mac OS, or Windows OSs. And the way they will connect is not through necessarily a VPN, but through the ITOM gateway. And specifically, you will be establishing a connection to ITOM cloud services that are running in the ServiceNow data centers instead of a mid server. So this allows you to have way more flexibility in terms of the ACC deployment and to cover more use cases. I talked about the fact that you don't necessarily need to have at this stage connected devices or VPN connected devices, or even whenever you have DMZ devices, ACCV will now be able to discover them. You can activate the agent client collector for visibility content if you want to have this feature, and the ITOM Cloud Services Core Store app. You'll be entitled to this if you have either ITOM visibility or any other bundle that includes ITOM visibility. If you want to have more details about the technical details, you have this box right here, and specifically you'll be required to have Hermes messaging service, which is generally installed but not configured. If you want to check the status of Hermes, you have the instructions right here. And as of now, the pattern execution is not supported yet for the agent client collector connected via ICS. Let's now talk about another great innovation, which is the discovery and service mapping patterns. I'm not going to cover all of the 27 new patterns that we have for AWS resources, which is huge. But I will leave you to download the store app. So discovery and service mapping patterns that you can see here, because this is what we always recommend you. Please go to the store and make sure that you have the latest and greatest version of discovery and service mapping patterns. We are releasing a ton of innovation through it, and you will find even all the different details, of course, in the actual release notes. But this is really paramount if you want to get the best out of the discovery and service mapping features, and if you have, of course, ITOM entitlements. Um, Now, basically, you will have different innovations, such as new AWS resource configurations. And just one reminder for you all, the patterns are not enabled by default. As soon as you update your store app, you will need to manually activate them, because we want to make sure that you get the best out of your deployments, and you have full control on your licensing consumption. Let's now talk about another great feature that we have recently released. Now, this one is an Innovation Lab release, and later on this year, we have plans to have a GA, which is the Cloud License Estimator. Now, for all those of you that are leveraging AWS, Azure, potentially even other clouds, as of now, of course, for Innovation Lab release, we'll be supporting Azure and AWS deployments. This is a way easier way to have more control in terms of estimation of licensable cloud resources count within your environments. All you need to do is you need to specify which cloud accounts you'd like to get scanned. And then this app will basically give you an estimation in terms of licensable cloud resources count for both ITOM and ITOM CCM, so Cloud Cost Management solutions. Now, this is a great breakthrough because you'll be way more in control of your different features, sorry, of your consumption, and you'll have the flexibility to know more about how you want to go about your licensing consumption. Now, when it comes to how you activate it, please visit our Innovation Lab section of the store. You just look for Cloud License Estimator store app. Realistically speaking, if you're just doing a search, you'll need to scroll down a little bit and you will find the app in the Innovation Lab section. If you want to have more licensing implications, of course, this is an Innovation Lab release, and you'll find a little bit of technical considerations in this slide. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the product in action, actually, because it's a very easy UI to leverage. I'm just going to share my screen in a moment, and you'll see how easy it will be for you to get to value with this app. This is the UI that you will have in front of you as soon as you install Cloud License Estimator. And you can see the first part of it is to set up your cloud account configurations to run the license estimator, but specifically, you need to have credentials to those accounts. So You typically need to go and define the credentials to your environments that you're targeting. Like in this case, we have set up our own credentials. When it comes to then having the configurations, you can create new configurations for either AWS or Azure environments, as I said before, and you can opt for either credentials based whenever you have already set up your credentials in here, or you can go for the credential-less configuration. In this case, you need to configure your AWS accessor configuration, which accessor account configuration for either member accounts or management accounts, because both of them are supported. And you'll simply create a new configuration in here. You'll need to insert the name account ID, specify whether it's a management account, then provide the credentials, management account, the accessor account, and accessor role ARN, which is a mandatory field if you have added the accessor account in here. Now, once you create one of these configurations, and here we have created a few of them, you'll be able to specify the aggregator account, the name, and the region here. Select whether you have a management account or not, and you will save it and run the license estimator. Now, if you want to do it for Azure, it's going to look similar. We also support whether you have a management group. In this case, we don't support the sort of credentialless approach. Here, I already prepared one of these configurations, and it's very easy. So once we save those configurations and we select to run license estimator, it's going to be the same option as I do right now. So you'll be prompted out to this UI where you'll see, first of all, whether the credentials that you want to leverage are valid. In this case, the connection check is checking exactly that. Have you provided me with the right credentials? And then you have the resource count that is going to be scanning both licensable and non-licensable resources that are within that account. You will see a live pop-up of different resources that are either not licensable or licensable in here. And if you want to do a quick check to see whether you have CCM licensable resources, you actually do. And it will give you the resource count, license count, of course, if they are licensable, the license ratio per SU, and all sorts of information that are really relevant for you, essentially, in order to really know what's going on. So at this stage, I will just make sure to download the latest report. And the latest report is ready. So it took very few seconds. We have a full report where it says, okay, what are the ITOM and CCM licensable resource counts? And you'll have the breakdown, first of all, for CCM, and again, with all the ratios for SU and then for ITOM. And as you can notice, you will not only have, as I said, the licensable ones, which are easy to identify because they are in green, but also the non-licensable resources. So you have even an estimation of your cloud environments. Now, this was a quick demo of how Cloud License Estimator works. And we are going to go back to our presentation really quickly. Now that we have covered the what's new in ITOM visibility, I want to introduce you to a fully new product, which is, I would say, another pillar altogether when it comes to ITOM, which is ITOM AIOps Leap. And I know that there's been a lot of activity going on in the Q&A section, so thanks to the experts that have been really addressing all of your questions here. Now, I will give you a little bit of context before getting into what AIOps Sleep is. We have seen that the traditional IT automation tools have been historically very not necessarily focused on specific IT automation domains, and most of them have been focusing on sort of islands of automation. So either specific compartments that are not necessarily being relevant to a specific domain, or they've been too broad. And so there's been a bit of complexity in identifying the resolutions to IT operations problems. So how do we make sure to focus on IT operations and identify all the automation opportunities within that domain? Now, this is exactly why AOP Sleep is being introduced. And first of all, it's in an innovation lab release, and it's planned to be GA on the following release, so in Q2. But if you want to look at it from a holistic perspective, this tool is designed to really have more focus on the IT operations automation opportunities. And you have GenAI that is actually helping you to get to resolution steps for those automation opportunities. And then we also offer you the opportunity to quickly get to workflows or altogether playbooks that are really tackling the automation needs that are deriving from those resolution steps. Now, don't you worry, we'll get into the details in a minute. AOP Sleep, first of all, stands for Learning Enhanced Automation Playbook. And it has the mission to really reduce mean time to resolution, specifically within the IT operations automation or incidents domain, and really increase the automation coverage when it comes to IT operations. And of course, it does that with the help of GenAI, which we'll see in a minute. The first thing that Leap does is it focuses on the closed past IT operations incidents and defines the automation opportunities, grouping these past incidents by topic and prioritizing them as an example in terms of impact, in terms of cost savings. Then it analyzes these incidents with Gen AI on these topics, these automation opportunities to generate resolution steps. And then you have the benefits estimation for the identified automation opportunities. So you know exactly what's the real benefit of creating automations around those opportunities. When it comes to how you can activate this feature, you can activate it with the AOP Sleep Innovation Lab Store release. And in terms of licensing, it requires the ITOM Professional Plus entitlement or any bundle that includes it, such as ITOM Enterprise Plus. And if you want to generate the automation, the automated playbooks with Now Assist, you'll be required to have the entitlement to Playbook Assist. In terms of who will really benefit from this, it will be the automation architects or automation engineers, the automation leaders as well. They will have full control on the automation when it comes to IT operations, and also, of course, all the way up to IT operations leader and CEO, CTO. In terms of technical aspects to be considered, the ML clustering runs typically once a month, but it can configured. It can be configured. The GenAI calls are actually used to generate topics and the resolution steps. So you can see exactly how we are leveraging GenAI. And the leaps are essentially the automation playbooks that are then potentially generated after the resolution steps, and they are relying on Playbook Assist. I'm going to show you now in terms of the overall functionality, how it works, and then we're going to get into a proper demo for it. So if you want to really know at a high level, what are the two, let's say, value streams of Leap? It all starts from the closed IT incidents, IT operations incidents specifically, on top of which the AOP Sleep solution performs Elmo-based clustering to identify the automation opportunities. The automation opportunities are basically including these closed IT operations incidents that are being clustered together based on common traits that they have shared. And that's why we're talking about incident topic or topics altogether, I would say. For these automation opportunities, you will have automation prioritization, they'll be able to do based on different parameters, as we're going to see in a moment. And you'll be able to also see what are the savings estimations before you even generate resolution steps. And now the power of Now Assist will basically analyze the work nodes and resolution nodes that have been attached to those closed incidents and will generate automatically a set of resolution steps. These resolution steps are paramount because they will automatically allow you to either then proceed and create a proper playbook within ServiceNow, or you can still leverage your existing tools in order to create automations around them. The cool thing, though, is that you'll be able to do proactive problem management by easily creating a problem record after you have generated them. If you want to see the other part of AOps Sleep, which is involving the playbook generation, basically Playbook Assist will take in the resolution steps as an input effectively and will generate these automation playbooks, which are effectively automated workflows that you can leverage in the platform. And specifically, there will be a service operations workspace integration, and also you'll be able to leverage savings insights. So you will have a lot of different opportunities to really make sure you get the most out of this additional feature. Now, again, this requires separating entitlement to Playbook Assist. So I want to make sure that that's clear. If you want to implement AOps Sleep, there is also for this a maturity journey that we suggest. Typically, you'll start by identifying and prioritizing different automation opportunities within the IT operations domain. And that's the crawl phase. Once you want to get a little bit more advanced, then you can generate resolution steps and problem record, which are allowing you to not only identify how you basically can tackle those automation opportunities, but also how you do proactive problem management. And then you can create automation playbooks. And these automation playbooks are essentially the leaps that we have discussed previously. And they're the ones that can be also integrated in the service operations workspace UI. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna switch back over to my browser, and we're gonna go through a demo of AIOps Leap together. Now, this is the main UI that you'll be able to see with Leap. And this is, again, just for Innovation Lab release. We're going to have a lot of different enhancements for the actual GA. But I'm already very excited to show you this because this is really, again, this is a feature where a lot of you have expressed interest in, and a lot of you have been having this challenge for a long time. So we're finally able to meet your needs and really offer you something that is really tangible in terms of seeing how you can really increase automation and especially have a clear idea of what your savings are. AOps Sleep tells you, first of all, what are the automation opportunities in terms of priority. Gives you an indication of the potential benefits that in terms of savings, both monetary and time savings that you can get out of these automation opportunities. And then you have all these different automation opportunities that are, first of all, classified based on automation priority. Second, you have the status. So have you created a leap together? Have you generated steps? There are different options for you. Basically, it all starts from the steps are not generated yet. So you just identified those automation opportunities. Second, you are generating the resolution steps. So you are in the process to get to those resolution steps. If there is something wrong, you'll also have the option to see what went wrong in generating the resolution steps. But whenever you will be ready, you will have those steps. Then you'll be ready to create an automation playbook. After you, first of all, create it as a preview, you'll have the draft leap. And once you finalize that playbook, you'll have the published leap. Everything is here. You can also see the amount of records that are inside each one of these automation opportunities or topics. You have the potential cost and hourly savings that are deriving from each one of these opportunities, with monthly frequency of those tasks to see how often they're happening, the average manual work nodes count, the average reassignment count, and the business impact that is associated to them, and the projected cost and time savings impact. So really a lot of different information to make sure that you have everything that you need for the specific automation opportunities that you have. Starting from uh, the base scenario, I would say, whenever you have a new automation opportunity, first of all, you'll have more details about, okay, what incidents are being considered within that automation opportunity. And then you'll be able to click generate resolution steps, which is going to take a minute, but essentially just for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to show you, okay, after you start generating the steps, and here you will be having that specific um, uh, state in there. We're just going to filter to the status of um, uh, the ready to create leap or draft leap or even leap created. In this case, you'll have ready to create leap as an example. For this specific automation opportunity, you'll have laptop endpoints, Mac issues, and specifically, you'll have all this level of detail when it comes to the resolution steps. And first thing that you can do, you can create a problem record, as we said before. This will take a minute, but you'll be able to effectively do proactive problem management. And you see the problem record has been created in here. The other step that you'll be able to do will be to create a leap, which is, again, an automation playbook. This will also take a minute. So I want to make sure that I will show you how the preview will be. Because in this case, we took an example of a draft leap that has been already created and suggested. You basically have all the different groups, or I would say subflows, that are being created. You can see them from even a diagram or a board view. And whenever there are potential errors, you can just go in and act on the automation or all the details in here. So you have a lot of different options in order to really make sure that you get the most out of these playbooks before they are even created. And then, of course, um, now this is the UI that you're seeing in terms of the inputs that are being provided in there. And then this is the playbook assist feature that is showing you, okay, I'm interpreting everything that you're telling me in terms of the automation details. What are the potential steps and how I can synthesize everything? So this is going to take a little bit, but essentially the cool thing is that after you create all those leaps, you'll have published leaps that that are going to appear in this list. And you're going to be able to measure what is the impact of those published leaps in terms of total savings, in terms of total agent hours saved, the total leaps that are being created, and the total tickets that are being resolved by leap. Now, keep in mind, this is just the very first Innovation Lab release of this, but there's going to be way more that is going to come with GA and with the future releases. You're going to have the tickets results by leap based on the monthly trends, and then the different automation opportunities by priority and status, and the top leaps by ticket resolved and by time saving. So really a cool breakdown to really grasp the effective impact they're having from these leaps that are being created. I just want to stress out one quick thing, which is once you once you are in ready to create leap here, this status is really paramount because you are having all the I would say, resolution steps that can be leveraged with your existing automation tools. That means that you are not obliged to proceed then with the playbooks generation within the ServiceNow platform, although, of course, that would be very convenient. But if you, for whatever reason, want to go ahead with another approach, you can still take all this input here and then go ahead with your preferred automation tools. So really a lot to cover here for AOP Sleep. Now, Steve and team, are there any questions you would like me to answer live? I'm going to pause there for a second.
There's only one question. How does this differ from Automation Center? And there's a link in the question.
So that's a great question. I'm just going to go back really quickly to my presentation here. When it comes to AOP Sleep, really the cool thing is what are we focusing on? Is this, first of all, a sort of wider approach to automation, or is it specific to automation in terms of IT operations? Second, how are you making sure that after you define those automation opportunities, there is a follow-up action in terms of creating those resolution steps that are a sort of prescriptive guidance in terms of how to solve all the future incidents that are going to come up that are part of that topic you can immediately leverage. And third is, how do you make sure that you integrate whenever you're generating an actual playbook within ServiceNow? How do you make sure that you integrate that part with the service operations workspace part? This is what we're talking about here. It's a completely different approach to other different sort of wider automation approaches. So it's way more laser focused with enriched capabilities, and especially you're leveraging Gen AI to have the most accuracy and the highest level of confidence when it comes to automation opportunities. Any other questions, Steve?
None at this time that are remain to be answered. So please proceed.
Okay, cool. Right, we've already covered a lot, but the third and final part here is going to be for Cloud Accelerate, although we have a lot to talk about here. I'm just going to skip this one because there are two things that I would like to mention. First of all, for all those of you that are experiencing somewhat of cloud compliance issues with regulators, I'm talking about mandates from regulators such as could be specific regulations for data compliance. It could be in the banking or financial sector or in very highly regulated industries. We have a new product coming up that is going to be basically based on cloud account management. And I'm going to tell you more about cloud account management in a second. And of course, CLE, we have already covered that. So I'm going to get started from a cloud compliance issue. If you are in those highly regulated industries that I mentioned before, or in banking and financial services, and you need to stick by specific MRAs, so matters requiring attention, or SOX, or industry-specific regulations, wherever they are, and you have these compliance use cases, which are account inventory, or even account, I would say, and resources inventory, account ownership. You really struggle to assign ownership, not only for accounts, but even for resources that are within those accounts. If you need to provide service context by mandate, and if you need to identify cost controls and vulnerabilities within those cloud accounts and resources, this is the scope of the future of Cloud Accelerate. Now, I can't tell you everything today because today is just a What's New session on what's already available for you now. And Cloud Account Management, by the way, is available already in Innovation Lab. So you can try it out in your subprod instances. But really, the main scope of Cloud Account Management is to help you achieve and address those compliance issues, and specifically with automated workflows and really compelling insights. For those of you that have not been familiar with cloud account management, I will suggest you to really have a look at this part and specifically at the demo that I'm going to show you in a second. But really, this is just version one of something that is going to be much, much bigger. Something that is going to come up, that is planned to come up with the uh, Q2 release. So safe harbor notice, of course, applies. But as of now, what we can already do for you is we provide you a full inventory of all the existing and new cloud accounts across different environments. And for in terms of inventory, we provide you with that inventory for any supported cloud provider within the ITOM space. When it comes to the configurations checks, we also make sure that you're compliant with your internal policies, with out-of-the-box policies that we already ship or the ones that you can come up with. And then you can leverage the policy-driven workflows to make sure that any new account that will be provisioned will be compliant with your own policies. Now you can install the latest version of the Cloud Account Management Store app in the Innovation Lab. You'll see that it's an Innovation Lab release, so it does not require a specific license except from ITOM visibility entitlement, and the definitive pricing and packaging implications will be announced for GA. As of now, we do support AWS Cloud, and in the future, of course, there will be more to that when it comes to provisioning a new cloud account, but we'll see more details about it. And before and after, I would say, the finally organizations have a way to enforce compliance, especially for new cloud accounts, but also for the already existing ones. There's an approach in terms of maturity that we always recommend, which is the crowd walk run. We always say with cloud account management, you should start from having your inventory first of all, so you can have the account visualization and the key insights, such as billing if you have CCM, by the way, so cloud cost management entitlement. You have the account ownership definitions as well. And if you want to advance in a walk sort of approach, you will have the account management, lifecycle management, I would say, via the suspension and reactivation options. And you'll be able to do configuration auditing on top of your accounts with the out-of-the-box policies. And then when it comes to the run phase, you'll be able to do the account request experience with a centralized portal, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. And the account provisioning automation is going to be possible with a policy-driven approval workflows. If you really want to understand how this solution works, first of all, to do the account inventory leverages the item discovery and cloud cost management integration, that's specifically for specific cost insights. And then we have the cloud account certification from the CMDB data certification that allows you to do attestation. And this is going to be done on AWS, Azure, and GCP and other supported accounts. When it comes to doing the cloud account configurations checks, you'll be able to do this for AWS, Azure, and GCP. And this is going to be leveraging our CCG engine. If you want to then do the suspension and reactivation, you can leverage the cloud native interface with API calls with specifically service control policies on AWS side. So basically, whenever a cloud account is not compliant anymore, you can suspend it or reactivate it as soon as it's compliant back again. And if you want to provision them, we offer you two options. You can do either cloud native APIs to provision directly on AWS, or you can provision via Terraform. Terraform code will be logged into your GitHub repositories, and then you'll be leveraging the Terraform Cloud APIs to provision new accounts. I know that this is a lot, but don't you worry, you'll be able to download these decks after this session ends. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the browser interface again, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna log back into my instance for a second. Just it logged out in the meantime, and we can see that everything else here has been working as we said for Leap. So in this case, I'm gonna make sure to impersonate the right user. The instance is gonna take a little minute, and I don't know, Steve, if we have in the meantime any questions in the chat that we need to
If you could
address.
just answer, John, there's a question about support for Azure for CAM.
Right,
When
Cam.
is that coming?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the plan is, and again, safe harbor notice applies. Plan is to have support for Azure for Q2 release for GA.
So that's just to make that clear to everyone. That is our May release, which is
Yes,
targeted for the Thursday before Knowledge this year. May, let's see,
absolutely, Steve. Yes.
May 1st.
Yes, so we have a lot of great innovation coming up this year, just before Knowledge, and that's very exciting. I would ask you all to make sure that you check that out. Now, let's see the cloud account management in action. I know that we went through a lot of content already, but this is another really
Uh,
exciting capability.
Gian, I
Yeah,
think this person also asked, does that include provisioning when it does come out in Azure?
yeah, that's the plan. Yes. So Azure is currently already supported when it comes to the inventory, as you can see. And let me go back to the chat. Sorry, to my presentation. Just want to make sure that I highlight one thing again. So Azure is supported when it comes to the inventory, the insights, the ownership attestation, the account configurations checks, is not yet supported for suspension reactivation and for provisioning. These are the only two use cases for which is not supported yet. But again, that's going to come up soon. The plan is to have it for GA. So as we can see here, this is the account overview where you have the full inventory of all of your different accounts that have been discovered with Cloud Discovery. You have a breakdown of these accounts based on the account severity and the suspended accounts or the accounts that are due for certification, which very likely also entails attestation issues. You can see that you have, of course, different views for those accounts, whether you want to have all the different insights right there handy for you, or if you want to have, as in this case, the details in a list view. Now, you'll be able to see all sort of different details from a list view, of course, without getting into the specifics, or you could decide to explore each single cloud account. And as an example, in this case, we have an Azure account, and you'll be able to see not only all the different details about it, such as the if you have any costs that are related to this account, or what is the account severity, who's the account owner, such in this case, we have ownership of this account and all the different details about even the business insights. Let's say, what is the business unit? What is the cost center? What is the department? All these different insights. But also, you'll be able to see what are your configuration violations. So if we navigate to the cloud configuration governance UI, you'll be able to see that CAM comes up with the three policy sets for AWS, Azure, and GCP. If we go to, in this case, the Azure policy set that is being clicked here, we have different policies that are automatically included in this policy set. And that is exactly what is being reflected in here. So, or that was for Azure. For AWS, we have the same amount of policies as well. So the cool thing here is that you'll be checking each of your accounts against those policies for AWS, Azure, and GCP. And you will see if you have a violation, what is the severity of that violation, and what is the issue status. So is this something that emerged recently? This enforces basically the fact that you're enforcing your policies. So you're enforcing governance on your estate of different cloud accounts. This is the cool thing about having a good amount of insights, and the fact that you can also do not only inventory and attestation, but also you'll be able to do more with your accounts. Now, when it comes to the different subscription accounts, you can decide to manage some of them. And you can decide to, specifically for AWS accounts, these ones are managed as of now. When you manage an account, it means that you can decide to activate it, suspend it, or even close that account. If you see here, you can select one of these AWS accounts and decide to suspend it for whatever reason and submit it. When you do that, it will appear under the suspended accounts. You will typically decide to do this if you want to make sure that that account is paused because it's not necessarily complying with your internal policies, or it's basically out of compliance from those requirements that we talked about. Regulatory and compliance could be even cost controls, really. You decide that you don't want to spin up new resources on those accounts because they have spent already too much. That's something you can do. Now, let's go back to the home page, and we're going to request for a new account. This is the requester experience. You can request for multiple accounts here. We can do test, production, or development. Once you get here, once you get to the details of this request, of course, you can make sure that all these fields are pre-filled, filled out with the right information that you want based on the user, based on their business unit, organization, etc. The user in this case will be specifying a specific amount for the monthly budget limit, but there are different all sorts of information that can be put here from the user. But again, this can be pre-filled out. This is not a requirement. In this solution, is definitely configurable. The cool thing is that whenever you'll decide to fill out all this information for the user, you'll have way more control on what you're putting in there, and you'll be also able to control the tags that go with that account. So you'll be able automatically to enforce good tag governance on the newly provisioned accounts. And whenever the user will submit this, now we are system administrators, so we'll also be the approvers. And the view in this case will be the same. But the cool thing is everything that is going in between these different phases, because you have a general approval, and then there is also a finance approval, which in this case has been denied. Why has this request been denied? Well, because there are different policies that are automatically ingrained in this workflow. This is the policy as a code engine, the PACE. And you can see that for each of these policies, first of all, we view the most current one. There are certain thresholds, even from a budgetary perspective, that are kicking in order to make sure to decide when you need manual approval, when you need automated approval, and when you need automated decline of those requests. So you have full control of all these different parts. Everything that we saw until now is happening through proper workflows that are happening in the back end. So we can go to the Workflow Studio, and in a second, we'll be able to see that there are CAM specific workflows that are coming out of the box and that you could potentially edit to meet your needs. This means that you can automate all the provisioning steps, you can automate the decisional points, and especially the cool thing is that you'll be able to ensure compliance through the workflows, through the policies that we have seen before. In this case, let's see the cloud subscription account provisioning flow. And this is done again through Workflow Studio. You'll be able to see not only the sort of diagram view, similar to what we saw before with the sort of playbook, automated playbook view from CAM, but also the actual board view. As in this case, we open directly with the board view instead of the diagram view. But each step is then customizable, and we have different flows that are for approval, assignment, pre-provisioning if you're leveraging Terraform, if you're leveraging Cloud Native API, provisioning, and then you have post-provisioning and scope, the series, etc. Now, there are different phases, and you can add activities to each one of these subflows, etc. So there's a lot, really a lot to do there. I know that we are running out of time, so I'm going to try to wrap it up right now. We have seen a lot of different innovation, and I know there have been a lot of questions in the chat. I've seen a lot of links that have been put there by Richard, Steve, and everyone that is supporting this team. So thanks again, Richard, Steve, Ryan, and Brian for helping out. But before we wrap this up, I would like to invite you once again to enroll into the Live on ServiceNow webinar series and really make sure that you join the future episodes. I will thank you all, especially because you've been very active in the meantime in the chat. But I know that you need more of these sessions. So if you have missed some of the previous webinars, this is the right link that you need to check out. So take a photo, scan this QR code basically, or you can access this link. And if someone can paste it in the chat, that would be amazing, so that you won't miss any of the previous Live on ServiceNow academy that we host, which is the Visibility and Cloud Accelerate Academy. And before I actually forget, there is one last thing that we'd like you to do, which is knowledge. I know that everyone wants to get to knowledge this year, so this is the right opportunity for you. So this is the slide that you need to have in mind. This is the QR code if you want to register now for knowledge. This year is going to be a blast. We're going to have so many events, and we can't wait to see you in person there and really have a chat with us. That's going to be the best choice for you if you really want to interact with us live. Now, a lot of content today, but a lot of interactions. I see a lot of reactions there. So thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate my colleagues' time as well. They've been extremely supportive. We are really looking forward to see you soon again for another great episode of ours. So thanks again. Please enroll to our series, and we'll see you soon. Thank you all.